Hi, in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to sort library items in a document library. Let's go ahead and let's go to our job descriptions document library. I'm going to click on the link and it takes us here. By default, SharePoint document libraries sort the documents in alphabetical order by the name of the document. You see we have the name column here, and when we look down it, we see that all of our documents in here are sorted alphabetically by the first letter of that name. Now, we don't have to stick with that. We can change the way they are sorted. Let's say that we want to go ahead and sort this alphabetically in a descending order from Z to A. We can do that. You see over here next to the word name at the top of our column header, you'll see the little drop-down arrow. When I click there, I get this little window, and it says A to Z, which is how it's sorted now. So if I clicked on this, nothing would change. But I could go ahead and select Z to A, descending. And when I click there, look at that. We are now sorted alphabetically in a descending order from Z to A. So our first item is the office assistant job, and the last one is the accountant job. And notice now at the top, next to our column header, we have that little arrow pointing down. That lets me know that this document library has been sorted by this column in a descending order. And if I change it now, if I go ahead and make it ascending, you see the arrow now is pointing up, and once again, we're sorted A to Z in an ascending order. Now, we can also go ahead and sort by other criteria, by other columns. We have two other columns here, the modified, which shows us when the documents were modified, and the modified by column, which shows us who the documents were modified by last. So, let's go ahead and let's sort by the modified header. We'll sort these. When we click on the little drop down, we see that instead of A to Z, Z to A, it now says older to newer and newer to older, because it recognizes that this is a time function, time and date. So we're going to go ahead and choose older to newer. And when we do that, it shows us the documents that were edited or modified 2 hours ago first, and then about an hour ago last. And again, we see our arrow pointing up, which lets us know that this library has been sorted by this column. And if we change from newer to older, it'll go ahead. Our arrow's pointing down, and it sorts by that column from the newest to the oldest modified documents. But notice that now that we've changed which column our library has been sorted by, we no longer see the arrow over here next to name. You can only sort by one criteria in this document library. Let's go ahead, let's do one more, and that is the modified by. We have our names, and if we go ahead and sort A to Z alphabetically, I want you to see that the first group is Gary Colson, but it's not because it's his last name. It's not sorting by the last name. It's sorting by the first name because it is Gary. The second one is Olivia, and the third one is Pierce. If we were going by the last name, obviously Pierce Boyd, B-O-I-D, would be first. So you can see it's only sorting by the first name, the first letter of the first name. Now, and we have our little arrow pointing up for ascending, and if we go ahead and change it to descending, you see now we have it sorted that way. Now, these sorts don't stay in place once you leave the document library unless you save this as a view. And that's another lesson for another time. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go to my home page. And then I'm going to go back to our job descriptions library. And you'll see all of the sorting that we did is off. And we are sorted once again alphabetically A to Z by the name column. So now you know how to sort items in a SharePoint document library. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.